Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, great people, to the Non-Stop Playing podcast. It's your boy Kwali, and I'm back with another serious topic. Man, we moving, we grooving. It's crazy. Already episode 6, and I just feel like I'm just moving, and it's like it's just growing and growing and growing and growing. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Yeah, so I'm really excited about this topic. So let's, with the normal routine, let's go a recap. So the last episode was talked about why I got married, why I am getting married. So of course I'm not married quite yet, but kind of my journey in regards to dating and just some of the nuances associated with myself and how I conducted myself, how I viewed things, and how things have shifted and shifted for the better in a sense, right? So got rid of a lot of toxic energy, toxic characteristics from as far as what I was looking for and how I conducted myself, and here we are today. So yeah, check the episode out. You might get something from it. I'm hoping you get something from it. I've already got a lot of good comments from other people who have listened in, and they some vital things in there that really stood out to them. So if you haven't, go check it out. Yeah, just trying to drop these gems. I'm trying to uplift the community and give us something to really give the community something to base things off of. And again, my experience is different, so not saying your experience is going to be the same, but you might get something out of it that might shift things in your favor. So just check it out. And I appreciate you all for tuning in and, really, supporting your boy, because it's real. It's real out here. In most cases, we do things, and a lot of times we don't get support, especially from the ones that we think we should get support from. So I appreciate you all who are taking the time out to really tap in and hear me go on my rants and just listen to the information that I provide, and you know it's much appreciated. So again, if you're tuning in, hit that follow if you're on Spotify, so you can get the information right away when I drop content. If you're on Anchor, leave a comment, whatever case may be. Again, YouTube is still under construction. I'm, getting my videos ready to post, so you can put a face to a name and leave some comments on there. It's all coming together. It's all coming full circle. So I'm just super excited and super grateful. So just had to put that out there. Yeah. So moving forward, today's topic. So ironically, I actually had a different outline and topic to talk about today. Again, super important, but I think what I want to talk about today is probably the most important thing that I can think of thus far, regardless of what I might talk about, what I've talked about already, or what I'm going to talk about moving forward. This topic is super, super, super important. And I think it takes precedent over any other topic that I'm going to talk about, because that's how important it is. So, as I say, as I always say, just roll with me. You know what I mean? Because we about to get into it. So, the topic today is tight. The topic for today is called the struggle, and the emphasis is on handling mental health for men. Cool. You get a little shivers, you're getting them shivers already, when we talk about mental health. So of course, mental health is a buzzword. It's something that we as a society, we are trying to tap into more and try to understand more, because people have come to the understanding that people out here hurting, whether it's mentally, psychologically, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's just so much going on, and people are acting out, but they're acting out of impulse because their spirit isn't right. And I think that's why my spirit told me today, like, you wanted to do this topic, but this right here has just been on my mind. It's always been on my mind, but I'm like, man, you need to just jump into it, bro. Don't waste no time with nobody. Don't try to follow this blueprint. Just go with your spirit. What does your spirit want to talk about today that you feel is important, that the masses need to know and need to hear about from your perspective, quality? And that's what I'm doing. I was like, you know what? I'm finna get on the phone today, or the microphone in a sense, and I'm gonna talk my ish about mental health. and specifically my struggle with mental health, because everybody struggles with it, regardless of if it's acute, if it's minor, if it's subtle. It's there. It's there, and you don't need to be diagnosed by a doctor for you to know that you have some issues, or not even issues. You have some struggles, and that's why I titled it the struggle, because essentially it's not an issue. It's only an issue if you leave it untouched and you kind of sweep it under the rug. That's when it becomes an issue and it affects you at a catastrophic level. You know what I mean? So if you are dealing with mental health, or if you're dealing with anything associated with your energy, find someone to talk to, tap in, try to maneuver around it, because don't let it fester, because that's when things get worse. So that's just my take on that. But where do I begin? Man, mental health, mental health. It's something I've been struggling with for a long time, man. I think the earliest I can think of is when I was like 7 or 8. And a lot of it stemmed from my father not being around, for real. You know, my father, he dipped out when I was around 3. And, I was from what people told me, I was a daddy's boy. Um, and for the longest, I didn't understand why he was gone. I'm just like, what did I do wrong? And, does he love me? And, why would he just leave me and my brother? And, where is this dude at? I didn't ask to be here. What's going on? And at the time, I was like first or second grade. And, like I said, I was bullied a lot during school, like in school. So normally as a boy, you're like, where my dad at? So he can teach me how to fight, or teach me this or teach me that, or, instill some hardness in me, some strength, and some grit, like make me tough. But that wasn't the case, and I always question that, like, man, if I had my dad around, I probably wouldn't be dealing with some of these issues. I would be the aggressor, and I wouldn't let people pick on me. I would defend myself. But again, this is me thinking as a 7, 8 year old. So that played a big part in it. But also, when it came to wanted to go stay with my dad or go spend time with him, I would tell myself at 7, 8 years old that I'm not going to get my hopes up, or I'm not going to get happy, because I don't want to be let down. I don't want to get my hopes up just to be told no. So from an early age, I conditioned myself to not be happy, because I didn't want that burden of being sad. You know what I mean? So if I don't hype myself up, I ain't got to worry about being let down. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't get your hopes up so you don't have to worry about it. And again, that is carried throughout my life. Even to this day, I do the same thing, which is crazy. But it all started with the fact that a lot of my psychological and emotional distress came from my father not being around. So that's why I try to make it a point for me to be there for my kids. And even though I have my struggles with my BM, and oh Lord, but I'm not gonna get into that on the episode, because I got another episode that kind of touches on that. That's why I'm super adamant. I'm super protective, because I know how crucial it is for a father to be in his kid's life, because fathers matter. Fathers need to be valued more in society. And again, I'm gonna talk about that at a later date. But I think that's where it really started with my mental health, in terms of, you know, in a sense, limiting myself from feeling joy, feeling happiness, because I didn't want to have the inverted, or the opposite of that, which would be pain, sorrow, not really grief, but pain, sorrow, unhappiness. I didn't want to feel those things, because who wants to feel that way? Like, I don't know nobody who wakes up like, man, I really want to be sad today. You know what I'm saying? So I had to condition myself from an early age because of my father, and it kind of stemmed from there. And another big thing that really that affected my mental health was I didn't, we talk a lot about support, and people don't understand how much I'm proud of you, or I see what you're doing, keep up the good work, or even just take interest into what somebody has going on. It goes so far. You don't have to give money. You don't have to, um, try to take over the instance. Just the acknowledgement that you see what's going on and you appreciate it, or the accolade that comes behind it, goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people are so quick to not do that. They just like, oh yeah. Like even with this podcast, like I've shared it with a lot of close friends, and I'm air quoting because people I use that term friend. I don't use it loosely anymore. You have to show me you my friend. And everybody that know me know how I am. I will cut you off in a heartbeat. You can be my mama. My mama can make me mad, and I will cut her off and not talk to her because I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my energy, and I don't have time for the shenanigans. So you know, so for me, don't ask me to, oh, what's your podcast about? Listen to it. Why do I have to explain it to you? If you interested in my podcast, go listen to an episode. Go listen to the intro. It's going to tell you what it's about. Like the fact that you asked me what do I need or like what is it about? That in itself shows you that you're being lazy and that you're not that interested because you're like, hey, send me the link so I can just go check it out. And then actually go check it out. Now, don't get me wrong, people are busy. I'm busy, but people make time for what they want to make time for. So if you have asked about or inquired about my podcast within the last week, you haven't listened to an episode, you don't care that much. You just wanted to do that to get some notoriety to make it seem like manipulation at its best. And I call it how I see it. Like, I'm the type, and I get it, you can't put your actions or your thought process on other people, but some things are kind of self-explanatory. If you ask about something, you got time because people make time to watch television. People make time to go to the gym. People make time to do other stuff. Go grab something to eat, cook. You can turn a podcast on, or you can turn something on and listen to it while you do those things. Again, people make time for what they want to make time for. So I'm done with making excuses for people because it just don't work like that. But again, back to the topic at hand. The lack of support, it affects people drastically. If say your kid is in sports, if you're not there, they're less likely to show up and show out. But when you're there, they know you there, they're gonna show up and show out because they want to make you proud. Being there and being attentive and being present goes a long way. And I feel like in society, well, I know in I ain't gonna say I know in society, a lot of us deal with this and there's no remedy for it because you can't tell a person, hey, I need you to be more involved. I need you to be more present because again, you can't put that trust in people because people are too self-centered in a sense. People are more worried about what they got going on and don't take the time out to do things that matter. You would rather go watch an episode of Love and Hip Hop than support your friend. That's crazy to me. Like, what? Yeah, it's entertainment, air quotes, entertainment, but at the same time, what your friend is doing it has entertainment aspects to it too. You don't care about it because at the end of the day, you would rather do this because you get that. Think about it this way: it's that temporary fix. You're supposed to be on a diet and you eat that one sugar cookie. You want that temporary fix because you like the feeling that you get from it. Not that it helps you in any way. It's just temporary fix. And again, we're creatures of habit, and that's why we have so many issues in the world because we would rather choose the lesser of two evils, just for sake of terms, and pick something that's not conducive for what we're trying to do, rather than tap into that will that would help us. Like you got so many people that say, "Oh, I'm too busy to go work out." They want to get in shape, they want to lose weight, but they say they too busy to go to the gym. But they can sit on the couch, eat a bag of potato chips, and watch a movie. That 2 hours and 30 minutes that you were sitting, or even an hour and a half that you were sitting there watching, you could have been working out. And you're eating potato chips. So the potato chips are adding more cholesterol and saturated fats to you, making you gain more weight. So it's cause and effect. People, you gotta be more mindful of that. So you know the fact that there is a lack of support really taints the the growth of people in a sense because they know that they don't have these people around them, and then they start adapting to that or adopting that frame of reference because in their mind, like if anybody will do nothing for me, I ain't gonna do nothing for them, and it's just an ongoing domino effect of negative energy. And we have that big in our community, which is crazy to me because we are a collective community. Native born blacks, African Americans, whatever term you want to use or black, whatever you want to use to categorize us as a people, we're probably the most collective group of them all. But we act so individualistic. But again, we've been conditioned to do this. So it's just, oh man, fries my brain. So again, But my like I said, my journey started when I was younger, because my dad wasn't around, and even with my mom being present, that was a struggle as well because, and I got an episode that talks about this. I've been a nerd my whole life, so I've always was different than everybody in my family because I really tapped into that. I'm the um, first generation, meaning that neither one of my parents went to college. I was the first male to go to college, first one to graduate with a bachelor's, first to graduate a master's, first to go get a doctorate. I am not finished quite yet, but I'll be the first male doctor in our family. And, it was only five boys and well, out of the grandchildren and 17 girls. 18 girls. Yeah. So, it's a lot of pressure there in a sense because it's like, dang, it's only a few of us. One of us got to do something. Like I got one, he's a boxer. He was doing pretty good with that, training with Floyd Mayweather, the money team. He was out there. And my other brother, he's disabled. So he hasn't had, he has a lot of limitations on his life. And then I had another cousin, he traveled a little bit. And then my younger brother, he just kind of do what he do. So it's, yeah, so I'm the poster child, and for me, it's a lot of pressure because I'm like, dang, I'm the only one that's really doing something. And at one point, I was on the wrong path. We talking fighting all the time, getting suspended from school, stealing, doing things I shouldn't be doing that would have lined me in jail or dead at some point. So, there was a lot of pressure, and again, it starts with having a positive male role model in the household. I can't stress that enough. Like, I don't think people understand especially women out here who say, I'm the mama and the daddy. Like, sis, cut it out, man. You sound ridiculous. You just doing that because something happened in your life and that was a situation in the household. But no, and you shouldn't be having kids with people. And the assumption is y'all not gonna be together anyways. The premise and the goal is to be with who you're going to be with that you procreate with. So your children have a solid foundation. They have the nurturing from the mother, and they have the stability from the father. And don't get me wrong, in modern times, it can switch it up. But believe me now, without a dad in the house, it creates a lot of chaos. I said what I said. So, but again, back to the topic at hand. Um, yeah, so there's throughout, my early adolescence and, as far as schooling, I just felt like I was alone all the time because no one could relate to the things that I was doing. Like, I'm doing research projects and I'm doing, watching a lot of documentaries because I wanted to be a veterinarian. I love animals, and I was like, I'm gonna be a veterinarian. I love pit bulls. I'm gonna start my own pit bull kennel, and I can be able to treat them if they get sick, and everything will be in house. But I could never really talk to my mother about, helping me, even with helping me with homework, because she didn't know. So that created a lot of stress. It's like, dang, who do I go to when I have issue in regards to my education? Can't ask my mother. She doesn't know. Father, he ain't around. And my mom's husband or boyfriend at the time couldn't ask him either. I think he might have finished high school. I'm not even sure. It's just crazy, and to this day I still think about these things like, dang, like I don't came a long way. I'm an anomaly in a sense because based on my household, the nurturing aspect of the nature and the nurture of my household, I should have I should have maybe a GED. Maybe a GED. But I overcame that, which is a blessing in itself. And I won't allow my kids to go down that same route because of course I'm gonna be there for them. But like I said, it's just crazy. And just like, but getting back on topic, just feeling alone and at times wanting to give up, but then you see all the things going on around you. Like, I don't want my life to be like this, so it makes you work a little harder. But it's and it's already a lot of stress on the man in society because we're already taught that we can't be emotional. We got to be strong. We got to be tough. We can't be a beta. You can't be a beta man. You can't be a simp. There's so many things that put so much pressure on us in society when it comes to being masculine or being a man. But at the end of the day, a lot of these people that are telling us not to do this are women because of course, if your father's not around, your mother is the one in the household raising you. She's telling you, "Don't cry, suck it up, be a man." Oh, I'm gonna punch you in your chest if you cry. I'm gonna give you something to cry about. That's negative energy. Negative energy. Now, don't get me wrong. Some fathers, they have their means of doing things, and sometimes it doesn't allow for the child to be emotional in a sense because don't no, don't cry, suck it up, you know, it's just all of, you've heard the phrases, you know what was said, but again, we talk about modern day parenting. Most households, especially with little boys, it's only their mom in the household. So what does that look like? And it's for me as a father, I'm super nurturing of my son that's here already. If he's feeling frustrated, I'm like, "What's wrong? Talk to me. How do you feel?" I'm trying to massage him in a sense. Massage, caress his mind into being knowing that it's okay to be vulnerable. Because as a man, you can't be vulnerable. Because if you are, you're weak, and if you're weak, you're at the bottom of the food chain, and somebody's going to pick you off. Predators are going to pick you off. That's just what it is. That's how we are conditioned to be as men, and it's messed up. So we got to change that narrative. We have to let young boys know, and even grown men, grown ass men, let them know it's okay for you to be vulnerable, bro. And that's why women say that we in relationships we don't open up and we're not emotionally available. But shit, we've been told our whole life, you do that, you weak. You got to be the rock. If you're not, man, I ain't gonna say the term for it, but yeah, mushy, ushy, ushy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying with that. I'm not gonna, for the sake of the channel, I'm not gonna say that term, but that's what it is. And that is a huge factor which affects our ability to be open and vulnerable, which in a sense affects our mental health because we can't let it out. I, I kid you not. At times when I want to cry, I can't even cry. Can't even cry. My the way I'm conditioned, it will not let me cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Now, if I watch Best Man Holiday, when Nia talk about she had cancer and she was gonna die, I got a little teary eyed on that. Don't get me wrong. I can admit that because I'm in tune with my masculinity. I care less about how anybody's feeling about me being emotional, but stuff like, or even when I watch The Blind Side. Watching him go through his struggle and eating out the trash can, that man, that ish had me emotional too. Because I know the struggle of trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat for the day, or not having the resources around me to be able to be comfortable. I felt that, you know, through childhood and even in college. Because I was a broke college student at one point. I was like, man, I gotta figure this. Dang, I got $7 to my name for the next 2 weeks. How am I gonna survive out here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had those struggles, so it's real. It's really real. But it starts with, of course, the nature and nurture of things, the people that you're around. If are they supporting you? Are they pouring into you? And are these the limits of social constructs and social conditioning limiting you from being able to be honest within yourself, be vulnerable, and be open and transparent? Those are the questions, right? So, but again, let me get more into, like I said, I'm opening up on this episode. I gotta talk my ish because it's been on my mind, and it's real out here. And I know a lot of other people deal with this too. So, if you get anything from the episode, know that you come talk to me. I'll be a listening ear. I'm gonna ask you questions. You know what I'm saying? I want you to feel like you good. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes that's all you need is sometimes you need somebody just to listen to you and take it from there, right? So, but again, it's hard for me to cry. Even when I want to, it's hard for me to cry. I gotta really watch something, but even those shows, I don't cry. No, I don't get emotional anymore. But when it first happened, definitely was emotional. But the last time I can say I really cried was at my son's baby shower, which was 8 years ago. And that was because it was just a whole debacle with his mom and all kind of stuff, and I just had to let it out. Actually, no, it was after that. He was around a year and a half. Yeah, it's about a year and a half. But these again, as you can see, the two instances where I had to, I had shed a tear or two, maybe 12. It was related to my son because that's how much I love my son. Like I love him dearly. I'm gonna love all my children equally, but that's the kind of father I am, kind of parent I am. Like, and when it comes to my kid, it's something serious. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but just throughout life, again, early, toddler years, teenage years, early adolescence, just feeling alone and unsupported because I felt like nobody could really relate to me or be able to help pour into me. And, you know, a lot of times it's because everybody's so wrapped up in what they got going on and they don't have anybody pouring into them. So their cup is empty. So they don't have anything to pour from their cup to your cup. You can't pour from an empty cup, people. It's impossible. But the thing is, what are you doing to add to your cup so that you can pour into other people when that time comes? But also being mindful that, you can't burn the candle at both ends because you're going to burn out. You can't be there for everybody. I get that. But how do you, in a sense, manage or balance being able to be there for people and, letting people be there for you? So it just goes a long way. But like I said, for the sake of this episode, I'm talking about the mental health and the struggle for men in society because, again, I I can speak for the majority of men when we all can say we don't feel valued in the world. We don't feel valued unless it's transactional, unless you are providing, protecting, or giving something to the community in a sense, being able to provide a service, you are not valued. Chris Rock said it on his tambourine stand up. Like, think about it. When we talk about Father's Day, what are all the gifts? Father's Day is this Sunday, people, right? So, what are we talking about? Lowe's, Home Depot, some tools, a tie, some socks. Like, I love me some socks. I love me a nice little bow tie too. I get fresh to death when I get fresh. You know what I'm saying? But those are the things that are emphasized when it comes to men. It's like, all right, you need to look good to get you a job. So ties, bow ties, socks, dress shirts, things of that nature, and also tools. What can you fix? We need you to fix stuff. Well, what do we see on Mother's Day? Mother's Day is the diamonds, the K's Junior. Every kiss begins with K, right? Oh, he went to Jerry. It's diamonds and pearls. It's cake machines. It's a different machinery around the kitchen. Now that's a little, sexist in a sense, right? She's supposed to, stuff for them to bake, or pedicure, spa days. All of these things that's comforting. I want a spa day. I like to get my feet rubbed on. So I like to get my back rubbed. Where's the Father's Day spa day? You know what I'm saying? You say, all right, man, I know you work 80 hours a week, but here's some tools, man. Go fix something around the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, again, the pressure. The pressure is you got to bring value to things based on the service that you provide. If not that, you're not valued. And that too affects the mental health of men. And what they say, men have the highest suicide rate in the nation. I think that what it is, men, specifically white men, have the highest suicide rate. Of course I'm gonna have to fact check it, but but the suicide amongst men is higher because men, when they lose their job, I've lost it all. When men get divorced, they lost it all. Like anytime something catastrophic happens from a financial sense, everything is lost because now you can't provide that service. You can't protect, you can't provide. So you are worthless. You have no reason of being here anymore. You hear it on the songs. What can a man do for me? If he can't do nothing for me, I don't need him in my life. Not, oh, can you add value? Can you, nurture me in a sense? Can you be a confidant? Can you, the things that really matter? It's like, all right, if you're not bringing home that bacon, I don't need you in my life. It's crazy. So it's rough out here for us, y'all. It's rough out here. So, all right, moving forward, right? So I gave y'all a little, gave you some background on myself up until my late adolescence, but even now, like I actually let's take it a step further. Even now, sometimes I just sit down, like to this day, like as of 2 hours ago. Sometimes I sit here and I'm just like, man, like the depression, the anxiety of I got to provide for my family. I got to make sure my lady is good. I'm the in a sense the glue, the rock for my immediate family. So my mom, I got to make sure she good. Siblings, making trying to make sure they good. Friends, close friends, not these associates. They can fend for themselves. You can't ask me for nothing, or anything. But yeah, it's just a lot of pressure because it's like, I got to make sure I do what I need to do, or if not, I'm not valued. I'm not doing my job as a man, because that's what we're conditioned to believe from an early age. If you're not doing anything, you're not taking care of your responsibilities, you're a bum, you're a deadbeat. And that's kind of just what it is. Ain't no way around it. So the pressure of doing that, men have worked themselves to the bone. We talking 80 hours a week, not every bi-weekly, a week, to make sure that they close that gap, or making sure that they can take care of their loved ones, and it's real out here. And there's really no stamp of approval. There's no uh, pennant that you could put on your shirt to say, "Oh, I'm a Superman." Because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, you did this, but you still got stuff to do. You need to get back out here. Ain't no pats on the back out here. You got to get to work. You got to make sure you're doing what you're doing. Because if you slow down, if you miss a beat, that's it. That's over. Okay, OV, my boy, you're not valued. So when did we get to the point where men become valued in this society? Now, I hear it all the time on social media, especially with the black women. Oh, we love you, King, and we appreciate you, we value you. And that's great and all, but for every one of those, there's 20, you ain't nothing, you dead, you a deadbeat, you a bum. So if I hear and I'm a bum 20 times, for every 20 times I hear I'm a bum, I only hear one time that I'm valued and I'm appreciated. Man, it's tough out here. It's really tough out here. So I don't know, man. We got to figure out a way to really come together and pour into each other and love on each other, and not pause, no homo, whatever. But that stuff is stupid, anyways. You should be able to love on each other. Love you, bro. Hope you're doing good, man. I'm proud of you. We need to start doing things where we are pouring into our brother, man, and giving them what society is not giving us, or what women aren't giving us. We need to do that for ourselves, because if we depend on them to do it, we're gonna still stay in the same boat, because it's been going on. This has been forever. That's the punishment. All right. If you ain't doing your job, we're gonna make fun of you and poke at you and make you feel even more less than what you feel already in that sense. And if you want to express yourself, we're gonna make fun of you and say that you soft, or you're a prima donna, and you better suck that up and get tough and make that money and protect and provide. Because if you don't, it's gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's real out here. We got to find out a way to really tap in with each other and be collective, but also be okay with being vulnerable with your brother, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Damn, bro, I'm stressing. I'm going through it. My anxiety is at through the roof. I'm feeling depressed. Like, what I'm saying, I need to get away. I need some me time. I need some positive energy around me." It's okay for you to do those things. I don't understand why at this point in life, with us being as grown as we are, that we're not okay with expressing ourselves on that level. We'll talk all day about other stuff. We'll talk about sports all day. We'll talk about shoes all day. We'll talk about clothes all day. But what about the things that actually matter? What about the substantial things? Not this materialistic things that lose value, depreciate. That stuff doesn't matter. Why are we not talking about the thing that's wholesome to us, which is us? How much do you care about yourself? Or do you not care about yourself? Or have you been beaten down so bad by society and by some women, not all, some women, that it's just like, all right, I'm just not gonna care about myself. If that's your narrative, brother, you need to find a way to get out of that and get around some people that's gonna pour into you. Because again, this it's a cold, cold world that we live in. It's just gonna keep getting colder. You gotta find a way to get shelter or to warm you up. And that's why we need to tap in with each other. Get you a core group of dudes that's doing something and y'all all just feed off each other. Hey, bro, oh, you just got a promotion. Bet I'm gonna try to get me a promotion. Oh man, you just bought a property. Okay, I'm gonna go buy me a property. Oh, okay, you doing these investments. Okay, I'm gonna tap into those investments too. We need the man group economics. Back to the second episode. I'm telling you, I'm sharing this information because is one is real and is prudent, and in essence, it works. If you really tap in and do it the right way, it works. But you got to believe in yourself. If no one believes in you, as long as you believe in yourself, you're gonna make it far. Manifestation goes a long way, but you got to do it and give gratitude at the same time. Be happy for what you're doing. Don't beat yourself up and say, "Dang, man, all right, I got this done, but now I got to do more." Man, take that small victory, take it in, get happy, get humble, and then go back into the streets. Not, man, that ain't enough. I made $1 million. I gotta make another $1 million. Okay, yeah, we know we got to do that at some point, but enjoy the spoils of your labor. Enjoy that. And it's okay to enjoy that. It's okay to take a step back, breathe, tap into yourself, congratulate yourself, show yourself that you're proud of yourself. I'm telling you, when you love on you, the way you're supposed to love on you, people gonna love on you too because they're gonna see how you treat yourself. And those people that are negative and have nasty energy, they're gonna slowly but surely fade out because they're not. Misery loves company. So those miserable people are not gonna want to be around you because you're too positive about yourself. And at some point, you're gonna counteract their actions or their thoughts or their comments by saying positive things. Oh man, that little business you got. Yeah, man, my little business doing great right now, though. But it's still you ain't making no money like that. I'm making enough money. I'm happy. Eventually they gonna get because haters don't like being around stuff like that. They want you to hate on yourself too, so they can feed off of that. So you gotta counteract things with positive energy, gratitude, being humble, being modest. When you do that, you're gonna go a long way. But it first starts with getting your mental health together. Finding somebody, if you with a toxic woman, man, get rid of her. Women outnumber men 4-1 in the world. You can find you a good woman. Now, don't get me wrong, I only date black. That's just who I am. But if you got to go outside the race and do it, by all means, do it. And, I've had my opinions on interracial relations, but man, if that person makes you happy and they tap into you and they respect you, man, be with that person, man. Forget all this trying to go against the grain and all that. Now, for me, I'm not doing that. I rather just be alone because I ain't got time for it. The way my mind's set up, I ain't got time for it. But if you can deal with it, my boy, by all means, do it because I'm not gonna take away from you doing that, man. Because it's real out here. And when you got somebody that's loving on you and pouring into you and supporting you and taking you through the motions in a positive manner, it goes a long way. So, but again, moving forward, yeah, mental health as a man, it's a lot going on, man. We got a lot of struggles in the world. We got a lot of struggles, again, providing, protecting, um, performing, PPPs, pushing P out here. We got a lot of P's that we got to push in order to, be regarded as a real man, right? But what exactly is a real man, right? Because people out here talking about what a real man do this, a real man do that, but we got people saying that from people that aren't men. Make it make sense. Come on now. A real man to do this. How? Are you a man? Well, my father did this. I was your father. I'm not your father. And this ain't the 1950s. It's a different world out here. It's okay for me to be emotional. It's okay for me to express myself. It's okay for me to tap into my emotional side. And if you don't want to do that, you need to check yourself at the door because we live in a time where it's okay to be expressive and say what you need to say as a man in regards to your feelings because ain't nobody else gonna protect that. Ain't nobody else gonna honor that. I gotta honor that myself. There's no more of me keeping it all bottled up because you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go because it's not gonna get too far. I'm telling you, that's one of the first steps to emotional intelligence, being able to tap into yourself and understand where you are mentally, where you are emotionally, and taking that and being able to navigate other people's emotions and feelings. I'm telling you, it goes a long way. There's books out here that you can read that help you tap into that. You know what I'm saying? And if if you need to get you a life coach, get you a life coach. If you need to talk to a therapist, talk to a therapist. But talk to one that has a therapist themselves, not somebody that's just doing it because they got a therapist themselves. That person, something wrong with them. Psychologically, something wrong with them. Because how can you sit here and take on negative energy from all these people and then just go home and sleep like a baby? You got to transfer that energy to somebody else. So if they're not doing that, ask that question. Do you have a therapist? If they say no, don't deal with them because they're not human. Something that's a little too suspect for my liking, right? So, but last but not least, before I wrap up this episode, I want to talk about an actual theory that's out here, especially in education. Excuse me. And it's used to, basically break down how certain environments make certain people feel. And the name of this theory or this conceptual framework is called imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, right? So basically, feeling as though you are not living within your truth, and within your truth being an asset to that actual community, right? So you feel like you're not being yourself authentic. So you're putting on this facade that's not really the facade you want to put on, or it's not your true self. So I want to tell you, Black men specifically, we suffer from this imposter syndrome a lot, feeling like we don't belong, right? Feeling as though we're putting on this facade, feeling like we're in the wrong environment. But that's because we've been conditioned to do so. We got to change the narrative when it comes to this syndrome. You do belong. It's okay for you to express yourself. It's okay for you to go out and do things that are not in the norm. It's okay to do that because who's people do a lot of harm, right? And when they do this harm, they do it in a manner that is to condition and to control the masses. It's for them to control the narrative. But when we step out on faith, when we step out and say, you know what, I'm not going to do what these people say I'm supposed to do because they say I'm supposed to do it, but I'm going to do my own thing. That just it's a disruption. It throws everything off. And at some point, things correct themselves based on disruption. So we gotta get out of this imposter syndrome mindset and get into a I do belong. It's okay for me to do these things. I'm in the right place because I'm doing the right thing. Once we do that, it changes the whole narrative. And if you haven't already, sit down and just express yourself. Sit down in the mirror, talk to yourself. That's a way to get started, to really get started and be like, people make fun of me. I pace. I would literally walk one by one, two by two, hurrah. I would walk and burn a hole in the rug, just walking in a circle, talking to myself, game planning on how I want to say things or actually analyzing what I'm going through in that moment. How should I feel? Should I have said this? If I did say this, what would have been the response to that based on that, what I said? What can I say next time if it comes up again? What am I feeling right now? Is this temporary or is this something that's going to linger in my soul? Do I need to meditate? Do I need to, get some fresh air? Sitting talking to myself has gotten me this far because half the time I can't talk to nobody else. At least that's how I feel, you know. Um, so I found ways to cope or to, in a sense, that challenge that I have. And by challenging that challenge, it's giving me more power, more strength to overcome that challenge. I beat that boss, right? I beat that boss to get to the next level. Now it's me tapping into other things to really expand on myself, my mental health, and making sure that I'm good. But again, it starts with you. You got to see what's enabling you and find a way or a solution to move past that, move through that, and continue to build on yourself. Because again, the world is cruel and it's going to continue to be this way. But once you start doing things for yourself first, everything else falls into place because those negative misery loves company people, they're going to fade away because they can't feed their parasite. They can't feed off you anymore. So they got to find other ways to find other people to feed off of so that their life can continue to be miserable, right? But when you get the positive energy flowing and going, it's clockwork, straight clockwork. So good people. I talked about a lot today, right? Oh, and last but not least, genuinity. Make sure you're around genuine people, but being genuine too in yourself. You got to do your due diligence first. That's going to take you a long way. Do your due diligence, your genuinity, accountability, consistency, persistency, gratitude, and just love on people. And I'm telling you, it's going to go a long way. I'm much more happier now than I ever been because I've gotten rid of all the negative stuff and I'm just focusing on what's in front of me. I'm helping what I can't control because you can't help what you can't control. What you can't control, don't worry about it. Get it out there because you will run yourself crazy trying to do that. Especially people that just don't care or don't know no better. Well, they know better, but they don't choose to do better. Leave those people alone. Don't give them no energy. Don't feed into it. Don't give them any ammunition to be able to lash back onto you and try to suck the life out of you. Don't do that. Okay. So but again, I'm gonna wrap this episode up because I'm gonna get to preaching again. Okay. But again, tap in with somebody. It's okay to be vulnerable, and you are worth it. You are valued, whether you know it or not. And if ain't nobody told you, black man, in a long time or in the meantime, I'm proud of you. Whatever you're doing that's positive, I'm proud of you. Not the negative stuff. I don't condone being negative. Anything positive, I'm proud of you. And that's real. And we can tap in. But with that being said, it's your host, Kwali. Thank you for tuning in. This was a super crucial, important topic. And I'm pretty sure there are going to be more parts to this topic, especially when, I start getting some more males that want to talk more about this and their experiences. It's up, y'all. It's up. It ain't stuck yet, but it's up. And I think we need to continue to build off of this and find ways to tap into each other and making sure that, we're being vulnerable, we're being transparent, translucent, and we're working through our problems because that's the only way we're going to get through this, people. So, again, thank you for tuning in. Next episode going to be something serious as well. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Again, I'm trying to drop an episode, if not every day, every other day until this first season is done. So, and then we on to season 2. And season 2 going to be crazier. So just be ready. Just be ready. But again, I appreciate y'all. Again, on Spotify, hit that follow. YouTube coming soon. Just wait on it. If not, you can hit the IG up. Hit my IG up. KWA_LEE22. Come check me out. I'm dropping stuff. Like I said, if not every day, every other day. Until then, till next time, be safe, be cool, drink your water, and we back at it on the next episode. Appreciate y'all. Peace.